any kind of team fight composition and eventually just crack open the base using the Lord.
See here, Aran rocking that Purify against boatloads of CC coming in from Bigatron Alpha. I've always said that I don't like Bane gold lane because you don't proc that passive way too often. And that potential as a jungler is just gone. As you can see here, pure rage just to poke down the opposing laning phase matchup in the Beatrix. But we're going for game number 2 for Bigatron Alpha versus Aura Fire.
Man, the early game is going to be so telling right now because the jungles, that's where the highlight of this game is going to be in. If Super Ken falls behind, there's no way he's going to be able to beat that pressure in the side lanes, going for a split push, using the Angela as a utility tool. But if Van is the one that's winning, you can bet that this objective takes for Aura Fire is going to be so much stronger, and Bigatron Alpha are going to be the ones that are going to be quite confused on what to do.
Interesting emblem here from Aran. He goes for Brave Smite. If I were him, I would go for Impure Rage for more damage because there's not much damage that can burst you down in the opposing composition, especially when there's no real DPS and there's only physical damage. You can go ham on that damage a bit more than that durability.
2 Brave Smites on the side of Bigatron Alpha here. With Super Vin on that Fredrin and Chorizo. So it is really a battle of sustain, isn't it? Bigatron have 2 frontliners proper, Aura Fire. Technically also have 2, but the Arlet with the Brave Smite as well. This is what's going to give them a lot of problems. In early game, Van already with a puncture. Now Super Vin getting chunked quite low, force a flicker out, but Van goes in for the Thorn Rose. One more hit, high dives in deep, but Super Vin is able to sustain. Sin as well, but Super Vin is still alive for a bit. It's a trade-in, 1-for-1. Roamer traded in for the mid laner. High now taken low, still able to utilize the Vengeance. And Super Ken jumps in again and attempts a Blaze to secure the kill. Now Van with the Thorn Rose, but Super Ken jumps out.
Wow, what a punish coming in from Super Ken. Like, every move that he does is just very, very precise, and there's no move wasted whatsoever. Only taking down Finn with a, a big room of error there, but still uses that micro prowess really, really good.
It's going to be a mechanical battle right here, and Bigatron Alpha, they have given 1 kill over to Super Ken already. Now with the purple buff being contested though, ooh, hang on.
Oh,
1v1, now Retry battle coming in, and it's still going to be Super Ken who secures it as Van actually utilized the Retry onto Ken. Chorizo in the midst of it all, now getting sniped down, the damage, everything collapsed onto him, even under the turret he falls. Hard guard though is right here, the Tempest of Blaze used up, good flicker out from Kabuki, as Vin is now all alone, he gets into taunt, he's against 4 members, the final slash isolates him and takes him out.
Oof. A big team fight right there, and the Cult Altar just shuts down any chance for Bigatron Alpha to actually strike back in that fight. Looking at the talent prediction by the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 and Z Flip 5. It's going to be Shevin against everyone right here. What happened, bro?
Well, I'm a Uranus user, and I think even if I replace Aran in this kind of situation, I can still kind of play good. I'm sorry for bragging a bit, but I think I know Uranus more than you guys here, and there's no, I would say, real danger from Uranus, but Super Ken waits out and the Restitution. Esfand gets it very easily.
No chain there. Chorizo wanted to try to change the I'm offended to give Bigatron Alpha a better chance at going for that 50-50, but Aura Fire bursted it a bit too much. But you were saying, yeah, why the Impure Rage, or maybe why not the Brave Smite? Where did Aran actually go for the Brave Smite?
He just wants to be a solid frontliner right here. With Impure Rage, he'll have a bit more damage. But like you mentioned, Shevin, without a lot of burst damage available on the side of Bigatron Alpha, he might as well be even more unkillable. Because on the worst case scenario, they try and target him in the split push or try and pick him off. They have solutions. He has solutions to try and stay alive.
Oh, this gets really, final slash. Tempest of Blaze used up. The Appraiser's Wrath as well. Super Vin now brought back to the team, and no one's there to follow it up. Now the Phantom Execution at the back. Van with the puncture, with the Thorn Rose. Super Ken is taken low. Now Van is in the midst of it all, trying to go for the steal right now, but he loses all of his HP, and Super Saiyan just takes his life. Now it's a complete reset back.
2 team fights in a row when Vin made a very questionable engage, and Super Saiyan having a pretty good time in the gold lane here against Kabuki, but looks like it's gonna end now.
It's a dive, 3-man, the damage reduction doing work right now, but it's not enough to save him under this turret. Kabuki gets a kill.
Very difficult early game for Bigatron Alpha, especially because Aura Fire is just pushing the tempo so hard forcing all these 3v3, 4v4 skirmishes. And Bigetron Alpha, they are not really geared for a huge team fight anyways. But the fact that Super Ken has been able to actually stay even and still get his purple buffs is definitely still a bit of a small win for Bigetron Alpha. If they can maintain this level and ensure that Aura Fire doesn't take down a lot of turrets in the early game, they can still bank on that late game macro situation. Whereas for Aura Fire, they just gotta keep forcing fights like this.
Oh, the Stampede brought him back. Forced to use the Tempest of Blades. Super Ken not given room to even farm here. Phantom Execution used up. Ken's able to dodge away from that, and now the turtle spawns in. Should be a free one for Aura Fire. And Bigetron Alpha, what do they do now? Mid-game has hit, but their power spike hasn't. They're still looking for this turtle. So Rizzo's position in. Super Ken is in position to look for it, but they do not want to force it. I'm Offended used up to Sin, and it's a disengage now. And Super Ken still tries to look for an angle, and now creates quite a problem for Bigetron Alpha as they don't know what to do. They're in disarray. Aura Fire take control and capitalize off of Bigetron's mistake.
I generally don't know what they're trying to do there. Like, if you want to disengage, just go for 4 or 5 minutes disengage by Kabuki with a flicker here. Super Saiyan will respond with 1-2. Hai might be in the back. There you go. A cleanup for Hai. But in that team fight, the hesitation is just very, very evident. They should have go back from the start when they don't have that hard cut. They don't have that team fight potential. They don't have anything to buff Super Ken. They still committed anyway.
I feel like when both he's just gearing for a 5v5, Bigetron Alpha should just try and back away and go for trades right here. If they can try and get more turrets, there's still chances to try and be significant in the later stage of the game. But right now, Super Ken.
There's apathy. Oh, beautiful snipe from Kabuki.
The timing, man. It's just perfectly timed from Kabuki to just wait on that Ranner's apathy, shutting down Super Ken finally, his first death in the game. And Aura Fire, they're gonna look to try and make this even more snowbally as they take down these turrets, and they're gonna go into the jungle and make Super Ken's life even more miserable.
Hai has been doing it all in this game, man. Like, the peel is there, the engage is there, also the punishes is there. For someone that hasn't really played that roaming area so much, he's done way more than enough for Aura Fire.
But they're taking everything away from Bigetron Alpha, even the little jungle creeps here, as Aran is much more menacing than Cerezo was in game number 1. It's a 4,000 gold lead, and for Bigetron Alpha, a composition that relies on the mid-game. Do they have what it takes to contest Aura in the late game?
In the late game, I mean, on paper, the Bane can still do some damage. Cerezo with more items on a Ruby can be a bit more menacing, but overall, against a Beatrix, right? I think that's a bit too much damage. And against the Faramis as well, there's a good mix of damage here from Aura Fire that Bigetron Alpha, they don't really have the same kind of AoE and the same kind of combination. They're going for a fight again, though, with a Cult Altar available. I think this is just such a tough situation for Bigetron Alpha.
They can't contest for it right now. It's going to be a free one. Cerezo tries his best to disengage or to try to create some havoc in that skirmish earlier. Super Ken, I believe he still was able to secure the purple buff, though it was not easy with the Uranus there. But yep, it's still secure for Super Ken, and now he's trying his best to just split push to get farm on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I like this. What Super Ken does is you have to completely ignore Uranus because you have no answer whatsoever unless you get into the late game and get that DHS, get that slows, get that also bit of a maybe Sea Halberd to top it off. You can kill the Uranus, but right now it's just no worth whatsoever if you want to go for that pickoff towards Aran.
Wait, Hai. Creating a distraction now. Good final slash. He might be able to solo kill Super if it continues here. But it's a good disengage for now. Turrets still on the board for Aura Fire. They're looking really disciplined here after the change they made in the XP lane.
Having a Beatrix on their team just allows them to be a lot more dangerous towards the turrets as well. Even though they don't really step up to try and hit the turret, that Ranner will allow Kabuki to slowly but surely whittle them down. But look at that, Sin gets jumped on.
Flickers out though, now Phantom Execution comes down, but the Tempest Blade is still able to connect. The final slash dodged away from right now, so deadly catch is used up. Superman taken very low, but I'm Offended is able to bring her on back just for a the Ranner's apathy! From Kabuki again! Finds its mark, threading the needle to find Vin.
How? A lot of crowders there. Somehow, some way he gets to the perfect target in a super win. So far, 1-5-0. It's not the same showing as before with that Fredrin mid laner. Fun with the utility build. Very, very tanky. Doesn't really get punished at all by Bigetron Alpha. And you have that disengage mechanic with that Cold Altar from Sin. So What can BTR do at this point?
They just have to defend, and they have to avoid fights as much as possible. And even if as a big plus, right? If they really can, then get the purple buff, but I don't think they'll be able to. Around right now, look at that, being just so tanky. There is nothing Bigatron Alpha can do to ensure that he gets taken out right here. Still, having that Purify available. Bigatron will move towards that Lord though still. This could be a chance for Aura Fire to find that winning team fight.
Let's see. Good zoning once again from Maran. A Super Vin walks up, knocks in up now. Chorizo able to escape. Now going for the sustain once again, but the Renner's Apathy is charged up. He's looking for a good shot, possibly a Super Key, and if this does connect, it will deal a lot onto him. Fortunately for Key, it lands on Saken, who's able to get healed up all the way. And Bigatron Alpha will concede another neutral objective. The Dragons are feasting on Lords.
Well, the plus side is they know when to disengage. They know when they cannot take the Lord. And a huge item for Kabuki in that Wind of Nature. And right now, Super Ken kind of just recklessly dive towards Kabuki, which is the main damage dealer for Aura Fire. Interestingly enough, oh, he actually has that Malefic. I thought he rushed that Wind of Nature before Malefic.
You can see for the side of Bigatron Alpha, there's just Dominance Isis and also the Necklace of Durance built up by Super Key. But at this point, they're just so behind that their damage looks non-existent. And considering their composition and the way they've been playing out these fights, it's just so difficult to expect them to do anything. With the Lord coming in with a Cult Altar available, Aura Fire are going to go aggressively here.
Deadly Catch used up as well. Now Van is using the puncture styling on Bigatron Alpha. Super Vin gets brought back to the team with a final slash. Still able to disengage though. He dashes forward. No map control at all. Not even the side lanes here can be threatened by the Ling. There's another Renner's Apathy. It's being charged up. He wants to land it on a Prio member. Connects on a Vin, and my goodness! Renner's Apathy and a basic attack with that Renner is enough to take Super Vin down. Now in the mid lane. It's cracked wide open. I'm offended, used up high, brought back to the team. Not enough to take him down with the Call Altar now placed down. It should be Aura Fire with another siege onto the base turret up top. Bigatron Alpha looking bleak for them as they've lost 2 base turrets for nothing.
Super Vin, he has the Dominance Ice and a Radiant Armor, I believe. So the lack of physical defense just means that with one ultimate and a basic attack, Kabuki, 4-0 right here, can just instantly delete him. And when your main front line, when your main roamer, that should be opening up the map and having wrestling away control for your team, gets deleted just like that, how are you supposed to try and find anything of value? Super Chorizo, once again, tries to output some aggression towards Aran, but this Ruby pick really hasn't been showing any significant impact.
Well, when your target is very, very tanky, both the jungler in Van and also Aran, also Kabuki has been kiting away or just keeping the distance really, really good. He's not going to be able to do much anyway, unless you have that flicker from Super Chorizo, which we haven't seen yet, and maybe that's gotta be the turning point for BTR. But so far, I've seen Super Key and other Angela users actually build a damaged Angela. Does that actually work with penetration choose to Arashi?
It won't be as... See, when you build more magical power, you do have a bit more healing as well, so it makes sense in a way, but you can't really rely on it as a damage output tool. Maybe in combination with Super Ken when you're going with a hard guard, but on your own, you're not going to be that significant of a damage dealer. So for Bigatron, I think they really have to try and bank on the fact that Sin isn't really using a Purify, right? They can try and jump on him and shut him down before he can get the Cult Altar open. I think that's the only win condition available for Bigatron Alpha right now.
How do they even kill Aran? There's no way they can even kill him right now.
No way.
Usually you wait for the mid-game power spike for the Ling, and maybe you can actually threaten this Uranus. But at this point, I don't think you can even do that.
Oh,
and now
wow.
Super Ken, forced to use the Tempest of Blades. My goodness, BTR in disarray, and it should just be the end right here. Aura Fire have what it takes to end the game, unless BTR take Kabuki down. That's the only winning condition I see here. Or not winning condition, defensive condition to win a defense.
I think they want to do that. They have to do it before the Lord just comes into the base. With the Lord there, you can see that Aura earlier, they just jump on the base and try and end the game and ignore the members of Bigatron Alpha completely. If they can go there now, Oh, they went for a couple of Aran though.
No.
5-man all the way onto Aranda. Ultra saves him! The final slash collapsing now. Surrender's ability to chunk them low. Super Ken still in the midst. Aran still able to survive, and it's Van who picks up the kill onto Finn. The base is wide open. Aura Fire, their first win is lingering, and they will do it against the Red Terminators. The fires from the dragon has melted them down.
Oh, man. What a debut from Aran. This game, kind of the same play too, right? He forced a bad shot call from Bigatron Alpha, knowing that he can tank it all, knowing that Sin has that flicker, has that cold ultra to back him up, and also